What's up guys? Welcome to Asana Lab. We are here at Yoga in Salento in Zollino with Laruga, and we're talking about and also explain an hard pose for the practitioner that go into the primary series in this bhujapidasana. Bhujapidasana is maybe one of the first big step that practitioners met during their practice. Yeah. So I let Laruga explain how entering the pose, how the pose have to done.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll take a look at bhujapidasana, which is really one of the first arm balances that we do in primary series. And bhujapidasana is known as arm pressure pose. So with the name or the translation of the name of the pose, it's really giving us good advice that we need to use the strength of our legs to put a bit of pressure on our arms so we feel more stable in the position. And this is great because since it is our first arm balance, theoretically in the Ashtanga yoga practice, we're getting some assistance from the legs, which is really nice. And we are learning to build up our strength from this position, and over time being able to feel more coordinated in a pose that, you know, is requiring quite a bit of strength, not only through the upper body, but also through the core area. So when we enter into this pose, it'll start in downward facing and we'll jump forward. Instead of jumping through, we will jump forward with the feet around the arms. So from a downward facing position, we're going to jump the feet around the hands, and once we land, we want to keep the bottom high so the shoulders can drop down low. If we drop our bottom low, it's hard to get the shoulders under. So we want the bottom high. As we bring the hands back to the inside back edges of the feet, and then I really wiggle my shoulders under and squeeze the legs in so the shoulders stay locked in place. From this position, I want my hands to be flat to the floor as I sit on the upper arms, squeezing my legs into the arms. So right now I'm actively squeezing the legs inward, and I feel very secure because I have that active squeeze happening through the legs. From here, I'm going to start to really activate my core by drawing the feet up. As I exhale, bring the chin down or the forehead down. Forehead down will be a little bit easier. Chin down is the full position, which is a bit more challenging. So from here, I'm going to point the toes back, continuing to squeeze the legs into the arms, bringing the chin forward, and breathing here for 5 rounds of breath. The chin touches the floor as I continue to lift through the feet. After 5 breaths, I inhale, come up, and I want to continue to squeeze the legs into the arms. Exhale, hold. Then from here is the transition into Bakasana. So I need to bring my chest forward as I bring and unlock the feet to bring the feet backward. So I'm going to unlock the feet, lean forward to bring the feet together and come into Bakasana position. And from here, exhale, jump back or step back. Into Chaturanga. So this particular position takes a fair amount of stamina because we're coming down for that 5 breath position. We're lifting back up, and we're also going into this transition of Bakasana, which is also another arm balance to then jump back. So what's really important is to really utilize the strength of the legs and to take your time to set up the position. What I notice where some students go a little bit off in the practice when it comes to bhujapidasana is rushing the process of the setup. And I really feel like the more challenging the pose, the more we need to take our time to set things up properly and continue to be mindful from each step to the next.
Yeah, good. I remember it was very hard for me the step to go out to exit the position. So go directly into Bakasana maybe is not the easier thing for a lot of students.
Yes.
And do you suggest some adjustment, some variation for that?
Well, you know, when you're in the learning process, you have to kind of make it work in the best way that you can.
Yeah.
It isn't going to be flawless, and that's why we practice. So, obviously, it takes time to stay up on top of the arms. But what I have students really do is, you know, when you inhale, lift up, exhale, hold, and get settled, okay, because it's part of the vinyasa.
Yeah.
Then inhale, we start to move the feet back. And what needs to happen to create more space is we need to lift the tailbone up, but to do that, you need to drop the chest down.
Yeah.
But you have to resist through your arms.
Yeah.
But to not collapse and fall forward, we have to lift our chin up to counterbalance that forward weight.
Great.
Of course, it's easier said than done because sometimes it doesn't feel like it flows so naturally. So even if students, you know, feel they're sinking down, make it work.
Yeah.
You know, even if the feet touch the floor, just scrape those feet back.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes we have to load it back up to get into Bakasana, but I find that over time as the stamina improves, it starts to flow. One thing that I joke with some students with bhujapidasana is if you can make this position flow, you can make anything flow.
Yeah.
Because it really is a more awkward arm balance.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not the fanciest arm balance, but it's actually a quite awkward arm balance. So it does take a while to to feel that each point can flow to the next naturally.
Yeah, great, great. Yeah, and the chin up I think is demanding because a lot of students I've seen with round back and look at the feet. It's wrong. You
Well,
have to
that would be a good beginner stage. So
and
forehead
pose
down.
the head down.
Yeah, sometimes if I have new beginners that are very new to this position, bringing the forehead down is a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Once they can feel that they can lower themselves down for 5 breaths and come back up easily, then they can start to challenge themselves to do the chin down. Because when the forehead is down, the spine is in flexion. When the chin down, the spine is in more extension.
Mm-hmm.
So when the spine is in extension, it is a little bit more challenging. So I sometimes, if students struggle with that chin forward, I just say, okay, let's work the forehead down for a while. When that becomes easy, then try the full position of chin.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys, thank you Laruga, and we'll see you in the next video. I recommend you don't do yoga, be yoga.
Sarà